So we're back. We're back at it, and we have to watch. We watched the first video. Peter Coffin made a second video about the James Somerton H-bomber guy thing, and the first video that Peter Coffin made was just so whiny and just hater shit. They just made fuck you Harris content, and we're just mad that Harris didn't talk about like capitalism more, I guess. And Peter is like, well, we should just say capitalism is the problem, and that's like such a lazy analysis of the whole thing. Anyway, the H-bomb video is good. The Peter Coffin video is not good. This is the second Peter Coffin video because, of course, they didn't. We looked at the videos last time. Haven't been uploading, and wouldn't you know it, right after that happens, we do a little bit of clout chasing, and we'll upload some stuff to see if we can't get some traction. It didn't happen, actually. These are the two videos that people watched, and everybody else tuned back out, just like we will. So here's the two videos that anyone's watching. We'll watch it too.
Well, hey, everybody, it's Peter Coffin. So a lot of people really don't like that I said that H-bomb did not do a good job criticizing plagiarism. Now, the reason why people are saying this is because they like when
so this is a response to that. I thought it was just it's the system, stupid, more H-bomb plagiarism. So I thought this was going to be more just an addendum. So it's not. It's actually, I got haters yesterday. I'm going to make another video about it.
Individual plagiarists get punished. That's really what they want to do about plagiarism. But here's why I think it's important to make the kind of video I made about it. Well, there's two reasons, and they're kind of both linked.
A second video is hit the tower, except instead of 9/11, it's like an RC plane, bing, and then just.
The first one is that when you don't about it, do about plagiarism. But here's why I think it's important to make the kind of video I made about it. Well, there's two reasons, and they're kind of both linked. The first one is that when you don't address something systemically, all you essentially do is play whack-a-mole forever.
Wow. So we understand the systemics of capitalism. This was talking about an interaction within capitalism. Like, do you want H-bomb to get YouTube to stop James Somerton or something? Like, as a communist, do you believe that the communities should have say in how we like handle our interpersonal conduct? Do you think the community should talk about it? Seems normal. Seems normal to me for a community member to talk about it in the commune. I guess maybe I'm just maybe I'm some sort of a like weird lefty.
If you stop one guy from taking advantage of a situation to meet incentives and get rewarded for it, you take him down, then another person who previously wasn't successful as him will continue to do it and become as successful as him. And that's
that's not really necessarily true. That's not how YouTube works. There isn't like a necessary number of like gay I was gonna say video essay, but this is more of like video ripoffs. More like recitations of other people's work. We like media analysis videos, like not really. There's not going to be necessarily someone there. If you need that, Nebula, you can subscribe to Nebula creators. I'm sure they would have you. There's some of that already. There's a reason James Somerton isn't involved with these things.
Second part of the whack-a-mole thing. Essentially, by making plagiarism the focus and disposing of a guy, specifically a queer guy, we'll talk more about that in a second, H-bomb made a video that just directs a bunch of people to spin their wheels, play whack-a-mole. And when people play whack-a-mole, they realize that whack-a-mole can be a lot of fun. So they go looking for moles that aren't on the board. On my Substack, I wrote a companion piece for my first video, and I talked a little bit about...
On my Substack, I wrote a companion piece. We are very self-important. This is the way people talk about content, like do this stuff. I am this is deeply cynical. How are you going to say that capitalism is the problem. It seems like you care very much about riding this in the wake of this. I guess I'm by third party. Now I'm doing this. I'm also guilty of this now. Like, ugh.
About how they've established basically a witch hunt with this. A guy by the name of Ben Jordan published proof of how a Nebula creator, a video from Nebula, a company that H-Bomb is partnered with and creates content for, was lifted nearly word for word from one of his videos. Nebula's response was to double down and defend the creator that did it. Nebula's chief content officer did exactly what the authors at the start of H-Bomb's video said plagiarists often do.
In the lawsuit between Ellison, Bova, and the studios, one tactic the studios used was to accuse them of being the real plagiarists, of ripping off Caves of Steel when they were writing Brillo.
Call the people they're plagiarizing from the real plagiarists.
Are we gonna? Are you gonna show this? We're just saying stuff.
That's what Nebula's chief content officer, Sam from Wendover, did. But what Ben Jordan really did was just use verifiable information to say something that many other people have also said.
What? Where? Show us what you're talking about. I'm lost. Well, yeah, because Peter didn't take the time to do any due diligence and show the audience what they're talking about. Like just making some sort of like vague claim about Nebula and in a plagiarism thing with H-Bomb, I think. I don't know.
Another example is a gentleman by the name of Adam Neely, who gave an interview several years ago where he repeated something that he had heard somewhere else. Adam Neely is getting a bunch of shit from uwu small beans who are protecting queer creators from plagiarists like him, who are, simply participating in human conversation the way anyone does. There's more examples, but these are the ones I used because they're so clear cut.
What's the show us the example. Show it to us.
And they're also from what I can.
It's so crazy how I'm supposed to understand Peter Coffin's fucking daily experience and to be like, yes, I also remember this tweet you're talking about. Like, what the fuck? What is this video? Peter's is the most small though? Well, no.
Can tell straight white cis male creators. H-Bomb's video
What a fucking virtue signaling in this. This is the type of lefty that actually like makes us look bad. This is the type of shit that they're talking about. This is such a nothing. What is this? We're gonna say vague accusations and we're not gonna show anybody anything. I know you have the ability to fucking edit videos.
Completely voids the idea of any systemic change. It sets a barrier at the system.
What do you want H-Bomber guy to do in the video about capitalism? He talks about the monetary incentive to do this. He is a known leftist. He talks about it all the time. We all talk about it all the time. We all know that capitalism's the problem.
It takes a naturalistic view of law as if that is just how things are. That's how they will always be. And what we can expect in response to the law is what we've always been seeing in response to the law.
Peter brings up the law a lot. H-Bomber guy didn't talk about, like, I don't think made a single prescription on, like, lawmaking or anything. I accidentally moved my screen while I was wiping it a little bit. H-Bomber guy should have been burned capitalism down at the root. I mean, I would have liked that too, but I don't think H-Bomber guy has that power. Not yet.
That's just how the world is, naturally. As a Marxist, I disagree with that view. That's the point of making a video. That's the reason I made a video. Not because I hate H-Bomb. I'll say this. If I truly, absolutely hated H-Bomb, I would never talk about H-Bomb. The people I truly hate in this world, I don't say a word about.
Okay. Wow, that's very sassy. So anyone I've never mentioned, I fucking hate you. We're very vague.
Not by name, anyway. And there's actually not that many of those people, relatively speaking. Yes, I am very irritated at the mode of criticism that H-Bomb took. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. That would be a lie. The problem is
I'm very irritated about it. I don't understand this. This is clear-cut lefty. Yeah, well, Lefty Dave, I don't know about that. Super Caddy, yeah.
Millions of viewers.
Maybe their ex-wife. Yeah, probably.
From anything systemic. Systemic criticism, action against the system, changing the system. It literally, explicitly discourages that.
I'm not smart enough to know what we're supposed to do about plagiarism. I think trying to fix it in any systemic way could risk making it worse.
The problem with that is the
Yeah.
existing law puts creators like Ben Jordan and Adam Neely, privileged white males, in a bad position where
What is this privileged white males thing?
Ben Jordan had to defend himself against Nebula, which is a company, not a person, and a fan base.
Wait, what was privileged white males? What? I'm confused by that particular thing. Like, as if they're not privileged white males, or that male privilege isn't real, which would be weird for a Marxist to say. Who is Adam Neely? No one knows. I'm not going to look it up. I don't care. There's just nothing. You got to put it in your fucking video. This is such a trash video, dude. I mean, straight up, this is probably the last time I've ever watched a Peter Coffin thing.
Established around all of the independent Nebula creators that are part owners of Nebula. Well, if you're attacking Nebula, you're attacking my favorite creator that is part of Nebula because they are part owner and therefore they have an investment. But here's the thing. If that makes that kind of a problem for the quote-unquote privileged demographic, Ben Jordan pointed out a Nebula person plagiarizing him, and Nebula sent him a copyright takedown in response, as well as sent a mob of people at him on Twitter. Adam Neely repeated something he heard in an interview and got a big old avalanche of hatred. That's cool, right? Right? These
Show us. I don't know who this person is. I've never heard of this drama ever. There's no examples of the drama that you're saying happened, and you're mad about that. I don't know. Nebula bad or something? Not just H-Bomb bad. Nebula bad too. Show us Nebula bad then. Do the receipts part. Do the make the video. You're here making the video. Make the video. Adam Neely doesn't seem to be a political YouTuber. I have no idea who this person is.
cishet white privileged males got it bad. That's good, right? Well, no, because if, as all of these people assert, these things are weaponized.
This makes me, the way that this cishet white males got it bad situation, this makes me think that Peter Coffin is a little disingenuous about this entire thing.
Via identity lines. If the privileged demographic gets treated this way, then when it comes back around to the queers, it's gonna be worse. And it absolutely will come back to the queer community. There is no such thing as a means to cancel people that came from the queer community that isn't then re-weaponized back against the queer community. If you're
Is the argument then that James Somerton shouldn't have been stopped because queer? I don't understand. This seems like id poll. Like if you're gay, you just be gay, do crimes. I mean, I'm into that a little bit. But like I don't think we should do be gay, do plagiarism. I don't think so James was committing crimes against the queer community. Like, what do you mean used against? It's going to be used against the community. He was victimizing the queer community in the process of this. He was literally co-opting their words and using them as his own. He was harming the queer community we care about so much. We care about the queer community, this nebulous term. Yes, the queer community. There are communities of queer people, and then there is the queer community that we're using as a virtue signal for this. Super dumb.
You're so concerned about harming queer creators, you're creating the means to do it right here. In fact,
the means to do it is H-Bomber guy proving plagiarism. All right, so I guess the gays, you're on plagiarism watch. Keeping our eye on you.
You have harmed a big old queer creator, James Somerton. Now, I'm not saying that I think that he's good, and he is potentially quite the asshole. Yes. But I also don't think that's really the problem. You see, before H-Bomb's video, James Somerton was known as a queer...
My corn is so moist that it's actually dripping.
The copy of the gay agenda that I got has none of this shit in it. H-Bomb is a queer creator. No. H-Bomb is harming a queer creator, James Somerton, who is a creator because he steals other people's creations. And then he creates a Frankenstein of their work, you see, without just simply reading all the works and citing them as you make your own analysis.
Proto-socialist that made mostly content about queer theory. You know, talking about gay shit, like the social norms on the Grindr app. There's a video of his that's like that. He started off as a queer proto-socialist, and now he's a misogynist scammer who is allegedly catfishing people. Because the way this type of cancellation happens, once you're a baddie, you can't be queer anymore, for one. And for two, you must be a baddie in every possible way we can vaguely link to you.
James Somerton is still queer. I don't think anyone's said anything about James Somerton's sexuality or status in the queer community. That's stupid. This group of people is so fucking weird, man. Like, how can we ever row in the same direction with these kinds of motherfuckers?
If we can say that somebody has said something somewhere about you, we can say that that's fact, basically. I mean, I really don't know. Somerton could be a huge piece of shit, and I don't want to say that that's like impossible or defend him, but I also don't want to attack him because I don't know anything about it, and most of these people don't know anything about it. They just know that H-Bomb showed him as a baddie. Now, regardless if they're entirely correct about all of the allegations or that he just used some things without crediting, the reason that they're disposing of
it's not allegations, it's pretty definitive proof. This is him man. Like, James Somerton fucking stole, okay? He stole. Peter Coffin, like, they admitted last time, did they even watch the fucking video? The H-Bomb video? Like, how can you be mad about this?
This guy is because he is an outsider who is making good on the bread grift. The main bread tubers either don't like him or find him embarrassing. And
the bread grift. This is a bitter person that's mad that the channel fucking died because your personality sucks. Are you kidding me? This is hater content.
Some way. And they had...
This is almost worse than being embroiled in constant drama. Almost. Trying to be embroiled in drama is pretty pathetic. Succeeding in constantly being in drama is I think, worse and more harmful, though.
To turn the audience on him so that he was no longer representation. Representation for who? Well, BreadTube for one. For another, sexual and gender minorities. Again, he's a creator that covers mostly queer topics, and that is a problem if he's bad representation. So he can't be queer anymore. He will never be referred to as queer. He is so not talked about as a queer person that several of the people in my Discord that I've been talking to about this responded to somebody noting that he's a queer creator that they've taken down with, wait, hold on, James Somerton is queer?
Why does it matter? This is so strange. So, in your Discord, which I'm sure is vibrant and just so packed, there was a person who was like, wait, Jane Somerton is queer? And that is like your evidence of people unqueering James Somerton or something. People aren't bringing it up because it's not relevant. Like, the most relevant part about it is that is that it's like, you know, harming your own community. But like, people aren't really talking about it. People are talking about this plagiarism is bad.
Because again, someone who doesn't know who James Somerton is, doesn't know James Somerton's content, doesn't know that. They haven't treated him like a queer creator. They have.
Why do you have to? Why? What is this id poll shit? Why does it matter? I don't care up front if I know someone's sexuality or fucking queer status. I don't care. I don't care. Why do I have to know that before I experience what they say?
Treated him like a cishet white man, which is, by the way, now that he's a baddie, what he is, regardless of what he is. Now, I made a very important documentary on representation, and I think that it's a good thing to watch here. I'll link it in the description. My documentary.
My documentary is actually very important, don't you see? My documentary is you should click on my video here. I've made a very important piece of material here that you just have to see.
Trees all run over an hour. They aren't 4 hours, but they are feature-length documentaries. So be aware of that. And I'm really making...
Whoa, a feature length. We fancy ourselves quite important.
This video to fully explain the point of criticizing people for doing individualist critique rather than systemic critique. It's because individualist critique doesn't change anything. A lot of these people are saying things like, well, it has stopped James Somerton and that's a win. No, it's not. Because all the incentives and rewards that create the position that James Somerton occupied by taking advantage of them, all of that is still there. And if the point is to organize a bunch of people to find all the baddies who do the bad things, then what you do is create a witch hunt. People.
So really what it is, it's awareness of the problem of that, and then more people will be more likely to play by the fucking rules, man. I mean, it's just community, like, engagement, really. I mean, he broke the fucking rules, man. He just stole from people. I don't know why this is so hard for you. He stole from people. I just don't understand what the witch hunt would be. Like, oh, we're gonna be looking for your plagiarism. Okay, then don't plagiarize. Solved. There you go.
Attempting to find people doing plagiarism, which has already yielded a bunch of false positives. And that's really what the whole abolish the police thing is about. Creating the means for people to be their own enforcement of their own standards. And
here we see it in practice.
We'll create nothing but conflicts over what's right and wrong, morally speaking, that different factions of people will just war over. Like, I'm not telling you that the police are the good guys or anything, but this ain't the solution. And
Peter's pro-police! Is there a horseshoe theory on communists that are just liberals? Like, what the fuck? Look, I'm just saying, the police, you know, keep our streets clean. Jesus, fuck.
And we've shown you exactly why.
Tanky? Well, that makes sense.
It's a bad solution. Even if those factions didn't war, the false positives mean that innocent people get punished. And if the point is finding people who have used other information without crediting it, you're going to find tons of people who are not doing anything wrong, but that
it's driving me crazy that the hair swoop thing is about to go in your eyeball. Like, I don't have as much. I have a bigger forehead. I have a much bigger forehead, but I have a bigger brain too, so, you know. But, yeah, it drives me nuts.
fit the criteria you're hunting for. And again, a lot of them are going to be queer. This is why the personal responsibility, ideology, and the individualist critique that comes along with it, which is what you're doing, by the way, collectivist left. You're doing an individualism, but this is what...
Collectivist left? What? Why are we wait, how can you be a communist and be opposed to collectivism? Which I assume means that, like, the well-being of the collective. Collectives are made up of individuals. True. I don't know. Their politics seem to be all over the fucking map. Wow.
Those things lead to. You are allowed to think that I just made a video that's mad at somebody for not doing critique the way I want them to.
That was the video you made.
You don't have to listen to me. But if you do listen to me and take me seriously, you'll understand this is not a contrarian opinion. This is what happens when you look at something and you say, I want the harm from that thing to stop.
So every video, H-Bomber guy would be like, okay, look, here we go. James Somerton is doing bad stuff, but don't pay attention to that because he's only doing it under capitalism. And so it doesn't count. Let's go. Wrap it up. End of video. Sheesh. Go. I don't know how you get lazier. So queer people are more likely to plagiarize. So because one person might get accused who didn't do anything, 99 people are guilty. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't think James Somerton reflects on gay people at all.
You find the root. And the root, by the way, is not, you've heard of the elf on the shelf. What about the hole in your soul? And like I said in the last video, even if the hole in the soul is the cause of plagiarism, it's not. But even if it was, it comes from somewhere too. And that, again, is the system of capitalism and the result of alienation from it.
Yeah, capitalism is bad. It's not the only reason people do stuff. You still have drop my phone, plagiarists in the commune for sure. There's always going to be somebody that wants to have credit for something or whatever comes with it. And yeah, I mean, you're just going to have competitive stuff happens. It's okay. And when we just address it when it happens, hey, plagiarism's not good. This other people did this work and you didn't do it. And that's your fault. That's okay. It's okay to acknowledge it. We're very mad about this.
Still, if what you're doing is trying to find individuals to stop from plagiarizing, as if that will stop the harm of plagiarism, you are fighting the wrong battle because it's not going to stop. It will never stop as long as a system of incentives and rewards creates a path of least resistance for plagiarists to thrive with.
Sure. However, as a communist, community enforcement of certain social expectations is quite good. Like when it comes to ensuring we operate ethically with one another. Like what would you turn to besides talking about it? Like what alternative do you want? H-Bomb not to make the video and James Somerton to continue to do this? They cannot comprehend labor theft without the incentive of capital. I mean, it's just so weird.
Again, it takes time, energy, and focus to be creative, to create something new. And it takes less of that to aggregate content. So, in a system where to publish more things faster that are already proven to work, content aggregation, which includes plagiarism, is the mode that pays. If you want to stop...
Yep. And so H-Bomb was saying, look, a little community enforcement would improve this because, look, now James Somerton's not doing it, and other people will be much less likely to try to do this thing in lefty spaces because it just won't work, and now we're aware of it. I don't see a problem with this at all. Coffin brain.
Stop the harm of plagiarism. You have to stop the reason plagiarism benefits people. And in order to do that, you have to address the socioeconomic system. You cannot not do that. And I'll say it again. If you point out a bunch of individuals doing a bad thing, and then you say, I don't really know what to do about it, then you haven't actually pursued the critique, and you've retreated from it. If you have pursued the critique down to the fundamental contradiction, you know what has to be done. Lenin wrote a book about it. It's called What is to be Done? I would recommend reading that if you want something that's not just some dumbass on YouTube blabbing at you about how irritated they are about being misinterpreted. But I am. And I'm fine with saying that. To feel things is a human response.
Can we feel like James Somerton needed to stop?
And I understand that many people feel things in response to finding out that some piece of information was used without credit. Sure. But if you want that to stop, you can't just attack a person who's done it.
Do you think that's what's happening? That people are just attacking the person who did it? And they're like, well, other than that, I'm pretty neutral about this entire capitalism thing. That doesn't come up. We're doing both. Pete, we're doing both.
You have to attack the reason they've done it.
Literally didn't watch the video. It's talked about in the video.
And again, whether you take that path through the hole in the soul, or if you go by purely materialist critique, you are still going to end up at the same place, which is this.
Look, I'm not. I like Harris's stuff. I am not the. I'm not going to be out here just fighting for Harris's or H-Bomb's good name, I guess. I don't know. You making me a crusader for H-Bomb because you're such a hater. It's actually crazy how stupid this video is, and the other one before it. It screams, I'm not involved. I wasn't. I should be involved. I'm not, though. I wasn't. I would like to be involved now.
System. Socialized production with privatized appropriation of product and profit. Capitalism. And you don't do anything about that by sitting on the internet and identifying baddies who have done the bad thing to dispose of.
Yeah, very hung up on the baddies thing. Thinks it's like a big mic drop. I wish you would drop the mic, honestly. That would be awesome. Can you drop the mic, please?
You do it by building coalitions, relationships, and power in numbers.
We're doing great. Doing a fantastic job. Harris, of course, has never done any of these things. Peter Coffin, well known for getting a bunch of people together to push a single cause. H-Bomb, never once known to gather an enormous group of people in pursuit of a single cause, or many causes. Never been done. Only Peter Coffin does this, and you can name one. You can name one event, maybe even two events that Peter Coffin has been a part of, and you can't name any guys? Wait, what? You don't know who? This is Peter Coffin. Sorry. You probably didn't know.
You don't make Reddit threads where you attack some random person you don't know anything about because they said a thing the same way somebody else said a thing, and you think that should have been attributed. Systemic critique is important, not to defend James Somerton from H-Bomb, but to actually do something about the thing you're highlighting as bad.
Do you think that plagiarism is bad? Because you keep saying that, a thing you think is bad. Do you think plagiarism is bad? What is your prescription besides dismantle capitalism? Did you know that we're a few steps away from dismantling capitalism and plagiarism is a problem right now? And we can do both? We can do both. It screams that they very much plagiarize themselves. Maybe. Could be a self-report.
People need to start to understand that. It is right to be upset about how things work in the world, but it is wrong to direct it at just individuals. It doesn't even matter how bad they are. If you're directing your ire at individuals, you're not doing anything.
What about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos? Doesn't matter how bad they are. Yeah. Sounds like I get a lot of hate because I'm insufferable. Please don't hate me too, though. But I don't care, though.
It just feels like you're doing something. Have a good day.
It just feels like you're doing something. Long pause. Am I doing anything? Have a good day. All right. Excellent stuff. That's probably the last time, Pete. I don't think it's going to happen again for me. That was insufferable. What a fucking fart sniffer, dude. I'm good. Count me the fuck out. Just insufferable, man. H-Bomb's video is good. Go watch it, I guess, if you haven't already. I cannot believe that you got here, watch me stream this or the video that it's going to be, and didn't already watch it. But, I mean, maybe watch it again or something if you want. Good background noise.